Welcome to the podcast. We talk about all the things that are hidden in the shadows. This is Isaac.
And this is Megan.
And on this long-awaited episode, which most of them are anyway.
Yeah.
This is a...
kind of like more of an experience.
No, I was
like
going to say...
gathering of...
Not exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry.
I said this is a believe it or not episode. Because this is based on our experiences. Granted, there are some actual experiences from others that we're going to talk about. But this is mostly our experiences with... This is our own experiences with evil entities that we have been experiencing. For the last 3 years, me and Megan have been at this war for that time period. I should have said that differently. That sounded weird. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, so for the past 3 years, we've been helping people.
Yes.
Combat things that are negative. Negative attachments, oppression.
No, but basically I was saying that in the 3 years that we've been doing this now, we've encountered many things of evil entities, especially taking them down and imprisoning them in my ring that I've talked about in Shadow Walkers 3 through 6 now. And that's why I said this is a kind of a believe it or not style episode. So you're either going to believe everything we're going to tell you, or at least the parts of what we have done, or you take this as information and nothing else more than that.
Or even to look more into it because...
But everything we tell you is stuff that we've experienced, and we have no reason to lie. None. Because I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't need your belief in order for this to be true. Mm-hmm. So, what we're talking about today, amongst many of the specific creatures and types of demons we've encountered, we're talking kind of about the rare demon, rare to us anyway. We call it the Cheshire demon.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff, I feel like demonology, not demonology, but like, it's very cut and dry. It's when it comes to demons, you think of the typical like gargoyle-looking things with the horns, stuff like that. But the more and more I've kind of dove into different religions, dove into demonology as a whole, and like angelic beings, higher beings, and to kind of go into this episode, you have to kind of believe in them, to kind of believe in what we're saying. I would think so.
Well, the most important factor is that the demon is not a creature that is entirely isolated to Christianic faith. No. The daemon, which actually is the proper way to say it, supposedly. Even spell it like Daemon, something like that. It's like daemon.
Yeah.
Or pronounced demon, but it's spelled daemon. It's strange. Anyway, has existed long before Christianity ever claimed that it was part from them. Now, the fallen angels who fell to earth after the rebellion became the high-ranking generals amongst hell, or pandemonium, if you listen to the ever read Paradise Lost. The creatures of demons were already here. The fallen angels, became high-ranking, princes of hell, kind of took over since they had more power than any other creature in that realm. So that's where that came from, which still stands today, encountering the ones we've encountered anyway.
And I think an important thing to note, too, is that, just like with angels, how you have, and higher beings, you have different types, right? It's not just the typical, like, angelic beings that you think. Archangel Michael's, the archangels look different from the Nephilim, look different from the Seraphim. Look, there's all different types in different religions and stuff like that. And so, not to mention deities and everything else. So I think just as there is higher level beings, there's lower level beings, and there's different types. And I think that is one of the main preferences of this episode, is that negative attachments and demonic attachments don't look cut and dry. There's different entities that could attach that look different.
Now you got to think of the demons as essentially a military force. If you want to look at like ranking wise, you got your generals, you got your lieutenants, you got your majors, you got your foot soldiers, right? And they all have different rankings and who apply. Just because, how do I say this? You said it perfectly when we were talking about before, like how someone thinks it's not a demon in the room because it's not a high-ranking demon. Mm-hmm. It could be a lower-level one, right?
Yeah, because
that you don't think is high ranking because someone can't get possessed by a low ranking one.
well, like
It must be a person.
Yeah, well, you think about it, like, you know, you hear it in the paranormal a lot of, you know, going back and forth between different teams and stuff. How, because I've seen it and I've heard it on different social medias of different paranormal teams saying that they're sick and tired of every place saying, "Oh my God, there's a demon. Oh my God, there's a demon." Right? That every place can have a demon. Well, I think there's different levels of demonic beings. So essentially, if you look up the definition of a demonic being, it's basically like a non-human entity that has excessive power that can influence a person, right? And, you know, there's different definitions, and some of them say that it's just more of a powerful thing on like the negative spectrum. And that's how I would classify a demon. Now there's different levels. Just like I would think there's different levels of higher beings. There's an angels and stuff like that. Like obviously the archangels, there's different levels of demonic beings. And not every demonic being is going to be able to fully possess a person to, you know, what we see demonic possession as. And so I think that there's like lower level demons that can influence people and imprint and make you feel bad, but like possession's not a thing. So I do think that they're around more commonly than, you know, people want to think, but I don't think every single one is like capable of possession. I mean, anything is capable of kind of possessing you if you let it in, but not as easy as if, like, I don't know, you know, obviously one of the higher ranking demons.
Well, here's a perfect math for you. Right. We have done 22 home cases of oppression cases. 22 of them have been demonically charged. So every case we've done so far has had demons there. Right? I don't think one has ever been a person just bothering somebody.
No.
No. And they always come in threes. That's one thing we've noticed too. Every is a master and there's two servants. Now, those two servants aren't always demons. No. Sometimes they're a different kind of spirit or a person that's kind of enslaved to the demon or like that. But there's always three negative entities together.
And if you notice, 3 is significant for the higher beings as well as the lower beings.
Yeah. So it is a mockery in a sense like that. And out of those 21 cases we've done, I have, at last recording, 73 demons in my ring. Confirmed, 73. 12 are high ranking, which I won't give those names out. But at 73 total, confirmed, 12 high ranking in 21 cases we've done. So, there's more. It means every single case we've done out there has been that way. But also we've encountered a lot more out there in the wild. But also it means there's not as much as we think there are. But there is. Granted, we have really investigated outside of the state or even further outside the city. But I have pulled things through people's phones when they do lives, regardless of where they are, all the time. Not everything I pull is always a demon. Sometimes, most times, a dark entity of certain places. A person. Because if you're an asshole in life, you're going to be an asshole in death. But the demons that we've encountered, which I think we should talk about first now, because we kind of established what we're from. And like I said, if there's anyone who comes with authority on it, it's us. Because I just said that. I have taken down 73 of them, 12 high ranking, that are inside my ring. Like I said, whether you believe me or not, I don't care. It's what the matter it is, what it is. It's what I've seen is what Megan has seen. Though you don't like to look into the ring at all.
No, I don't, because I mean,
every time you remotely kind of peek in, hearing wise, you hear them, witch.
No, I don't. Let's not even get into the fact that of that.
That's what they call you.
I don't know why. I'm not necessarily a practicer of anything. I mean, I use like natural kind of protection, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's a past life thing, and I don't know.
No.
But
lighter note, I think the funniest thing that's ever happened when you're listening to the ring is that one that was asking you for it to release it, and you said no, and it went,
Yeah, no, it looked like the Salem's Lot like vampire dude.
I think I seen that once, like forever ago.
It's like the bald guy. It's like a typical looking vampire, like you would imagine.
Mm.
And he has like the really sharp, like fang 2 teeth in the front.
Oh,
And he like lurks in the shadows with his hands like that. And so I go by, and sometimes I do, like, because I automatically will tune in sometimes, and I have to stop the channel. And one time I was just like, I don't know, I was cleaning by where he keeps the ring, and I kept hearing, like, telepathically, like, hey, oh. Right? And I was like, golly, what is this, right? And so I started tuning into what it was, and I didn't realize I was tuning into the ring. And this thing was like, let me out. Let me out. And I was like, almost like, it reminded me of, this is not a funny way to describe it, but like Beetlejuice when he's trying to get them to say Beetlejuice 3 times to let him out.
yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. And it was saying, like, let me out, let me out. And I was like, no, that's not a good idea. And then I stopped the channel. And before I could stop the channeling thing, it was like, yeah.
And from that day on, I have carried the ring with me at all times. So I don't leave it here for it to bother you.
Yeah. It's not that I normally do. Like, that was like one time out of I think I've done that like 2 or 3 times, like accidentally channeled into it. But
a few things about the different kinds of demons before we talk about the Cheshire Demon. The ones we've encountered, at least I have, and the ones we've seen, what they look like. Now, of course, I've seen the demon that looks like the gargoyle, right? Mm-hmm. Megan has seen it as well. But the high-ranking ones that I have seen, the 12 that I have, all with names that you know all too well, if you studied even a minuscule of demonology, or spent some time in the paranormal, these 12 names you've heard about. We notice that there's designs in their skin, like tattoos. And we notice that the more high-ranking these demons are, like the top generals, the more designs that are in their flesh. And it's almost like, I guess, like a gang, right? The more people you killed, the more tattoos you get. But with them, it's like the higher ranking you are, the more designs you have in your flesh.
It looks like tattoo, but it doesn't even look like tattoos. It's more like branding.
Yeah, it's like branded in their skin carving almost, and designs. And I can tell you exactly what designs look like. They're not like your typical like demonic depictions of symbols and stuff like that, but they are designs that look evil.
When you look at it too, like, it's just ancient. Like, you could see, like,
long before any language was written.
Yeah, it's just ancient. That's the only way that I kind of like describe, at least seeing it from a psychic's perspective.
But the high-ranking ones are also very human-looking, to some degree. The 12 high-ranking ones I have, they're all different size. There's some that are giant, like tower over me in size. There's some that are equal height, and granted, I'm only 5'10". There's some that are smaller. There's some demons that we've encountered that are like creepy little long-armed, short-legged, crawling on the ground type of people, like Schmeagol, like from Lord of the Rings, right? Like Gollum, right? Crawling on the ground like that. There's some that are massive giants. There's some actually that are like they're made of wood. There's some that we've encountered, that some demonic creatures I've encountered that are like bugs that fly around like giant roaches and insects.
Well, that's crazy that you say that, because there was when I first started investigating, I remember I would get these massive headaches, like these. Like, I could just tell it, like, it wasn't like medically induced. Like, this was like energy. Like, when you go into a place and just everything is like buzzing and there's a lot of people and you get like a little bit of an anxiety feeling, like just too much energy. That's what it felt like when I first started diving into everything. And I remember you would like, go to pull off of me. That's the benefit of having you as a husband. Mm-hmm. Is, well, not the only thing, but like, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
But you would pull what you would describe as leeches off of me in my mind forest. And I find it interesting because that's essentially what it felt like, is like energetic leeches. And so when you say about bugs and stuff like that, it's kind of interesting.
Well, the two that I've encountered the most, or are like giant roaches. Like one that looked like a giant roach, essentially. Which is funny because one time I told it, I kill your kind for work, right? Because I do. I'm an exterminator. Which was like, why the hell do you even think about coming here? The second was the one that had red energy that was moving very fast. That I absorbed its red lightning into my tendrils, which now I have as one of my extra abilities, which I talked about in Shadow Walker Part 6, along with the other elemental abilities I have absorbed. Yeah, if you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Shadow Walker Part 6. And work your way backwards.
The first episode. It's a little...
I know. You're like, what? As I said, believe it or not. But yeah, Shadow Walker 1 through 5, 1 through 6, sorry. Go back and listen to get a good grasp. But, no, like I said, demons look like bugs. And then some, yes, some have horns, some don't. The first I ever took down, the first high-ranking demon I ever took down, he didn't have any horns. And mind you, what they all look like, they're all made of shadow. It's like they're made of shadow, ash, and smoke. Like their skin is black, but not like human black. It's almost like if you took coal and molded into a man, and took that as like their skin. It's like coal, black, ash. It's almost like their skin. It's not smooth. It doesn't look silky or anything like that. It doesn't look like human skin. It looks like it's made of coal and ash. And that's what it designs in, almost like carved in, like it had a stone. The first I took down, he didn't have any horns. He was just like a shadow figure, right? But what was interesting is that he had an inverted pentagram almost branded on his chest. No other designs, no other indentations on his flesh. That was it. His eyes were black. Everything was just black. Some of the other high-ranking, yes, they have multiple horns. Some of them don't. But these are the ones you've encountered. And like we said, they all come in different shapes and sizes. One was a giant snake.
Yeah.
That was the interesting one. It was like a giant snake, which you think all demons would be some kind of form of a snake because the whole, slithering and whispering in ears and stuff like that. No, this one was. But most of them are humanoid looking. But yes, I've encountered many different kinds.
And I think interesting enough to also point out, because I'm going to talk about some entities that I've seen that have that are more human-like, that aren't necessarily like, we talk about like the demonic, the typical one, and then the like the snake and the bugs and stuff like that looking things. But I noticed with a lot of the demonic beings too, there's always like a hag-like lady lurking around. Like not all the time, but I've seen, I think more than demonic beings, I've seen hags.
6 or 7 I've seen that are servants to a main ranking demon.
And I guess I could talk about that. So like so I know I've talked about her on here multiple times, but a really good friend, Jess, and she actually heard about, or we came in contact with each other because of the podcast. She is from North Carolina, lives in North Carolina, and she listened to our podcast very early on. She had a lot of the same experience, and we started connecting, and then, we hit right off the bat, and we became like best friends, and I talk to her every day almost, even to this day. And we basically went through a spiritual awakening together, like with our abilities. We had a lot of the same backgrounds, and for a while in the very, very beginning, we would see in our dreams, and I think too, like sometimes you see these creatures like in the astral plane in your dreams, and some people will say, oh, well, that's just like a manifestation of the dream world. Nah, not the way it made me feel anyways. But there was this one, we would have it random. It would be random dreams of this lady. And very hag-like, almost like, is it Insidious?
What are you thinking about?
That has that like weird like lady, that hag lady in it. Is it Insidious? It's not The Conjuring. I don't think so. No. Yeah, it is Insidious.
Anytime I think Insidious, I think the red-faced demon thing.
Yeah, which we've seen things that look like that as well.
Yep.
No, I think it is Insidious. That, because the
You're talking about the one that was underneath the veil?
Yeah, that lady. So she kind of looks like that, but different. But anyways, so for a couple months, we were having these dreams on and off. Like she would have it 1 week, couple weeks would pass, I would have it. And my particular dream was this lady we were in like a hotel. Me and Isaac were in this dream. And we were in this hotel and we were with Jess, ironically. And I've had issues when I was a kid of seeing like hag creature type lady people, like when I was a kid seeing it. But when I started like protecting, I really didn't like protecting myself more. I didn't see it that much until the dreams. And we were in this like hotel in the dream, and for some reason Jess is outside. Isaac went to go tell like the main keeper of the hotel, because it was like outside hotels, like different like villa areas. So you went to say we were staying another night, and I was walking down the hallway, and it seemed like it started going further. Anyways, I go back and I thought I heard somebody come in, so I turn around and I start walking back towards the front of the like villa cabin type thing, right? And in this room, the door's cracked open, and I see this woman rocking on a rocking chair. And I see like the reflection of a TV. It literally looks like an old lady. And I was like, okay, this is weird. And I almost see like the hallway like elongating, and it doesn't seem like I'm in the villa anymore. I'm just like in this hallway. And so I keep hearing the right, and it literally looks like something from a horror movie. And my astral self just starts walking further down the hall to this room. I can see the reflection of the TV, like an old static TV, like on the reflection. And I see she's brushing like hair of a doll, like a doll, porcelain doll, like the hair of a porcelain doll.
That's a scene from Annabelle.
No, it's not.
That's a scene from Annabelle, where Annabelle turns her head around the doll.
No. See, this is different.
Yeah, but it reminds me of the scene from Annabelle.
Well, here's the thing. I've never seen...
Yeah, I know. That's the weirder part.
I've never seen it. I've never watched... I think I watched the first Conjuring. Was that with Annabelle? No. I've seen the first Conjuring and the most...
She had a small part in it.
But I never actually saw, like, the Annabelle movie.
No.
I never saw... Yeah. Anyways. So, I continue walking... And because for a while me and Jess both were having dreams about these dolls with no eyes, right? And I start walking towards it, and this lady turns around, and she's not like in a veil, she's like in a nightgown, like her hair is like crazy, and she's got like green, like looks like mildew, but like how a person gets mildew on their mouth, I don't know, it's like green stuff coming out. And it looks like just a possessed old lady, and she's brushing a porcelain doll with no eyes. It's just a porcelain doll, but it has no eyes. And I have seen this lady random times, and the way she sounds, I don't know if anybody has, you know, if this is your first episode, then you probably haven't heard me told this story, but if you have listen to prior episodes, you probably know the story because I repeat it all the time. But I had a dream when I first started even doing the podcast where, make a long story short, I was throwing a party. I thought this lady was my grandmother. She wasn't she looked like my grandmother, but for some reason I bit her finger in the dream. When I bit her finger and I said, like, you're not my grandmother, her jaw dropped and her face turned demonic, and she screamed, I will slay you. And it was so loud that I actually like woke up in real life, and it was like I could hear it in the room, but it was that same vocal tone as, and I've seen multiple times in like visions and stuff of this lady, and she looks slightly different every time, but yeah, so I don't know who she is or like what she's connected to.
Or who she was, who might have taken her down already.
But that's the thing is, like, too, I don't know what it is, like, these hag things always with the eyes. And there's always weird stuff with the eyes. I don't know why.
Eyes are windows to the soul.
Yeah.
If you have no soul, you're eyeless.
I don't know. I remember tuning into someone's house that we helped one time, and I remember seeing like black tar on the ceiling, and like old 1800s style clothed lady with a bun roaming the house like fast, right? Like talking like she was crazy.
That's not something though.
Huh?
Some of the scary shit I see in the ring, right? I'm not intimidated or fearful of because I have power in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the shit you see when you're remote viewing to locations, yeah, that's you see that as it is in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was she was wearing a purple dress and it had like weird designs in it. And she was like running all over the place, but like I couldn't see her. And then when I like focused, she turned around, she like slammed her hands on the like counter in their house and turned around, and she just black sockets. It wasn't her eyes were black, it was no eyes. So as much as like we come in contact with demonic beings, like in that sense, like you're talking about, for some reason I am always dealing with like hag things.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the hag things I've encountered though are witches, or the spirits of ones anyway, of that committed evil in their death before they died. And 7 we've encountered so far out in the field, taking them down. Because 73 is a big number to have for only doing this for 3 years.
Yeah.
But then again, we've had a lot of home cases, a lot of things, a lot of investigations. Taking them down, I've taken enough down through people's phones, pulling through the whole, if you study any kind of physics and stuff like that, the 4th dimensional space, essentially folding space through the phone, pulling through it. Anyway, through people's lives and stuff like that I've taken stuff from. Or other people doing investigations that have had me pull stuff from that place. But like I said, we've encountered a lot, and we've noticed that there's always it seemed to be a factor of why they are at certain locations, or why are they oppressing somebody? Because they're absorbing negative emotion. It's like a drug to them. Negative emotions that humans give off is like a drug to them. They feed on it, and once you want to take that away from them, they get violent. Hence why anytime a healer or a shaman or a priest or even me come into the room, they get violent. Mm-hmm. Luckily, the difference between me and all of those, it doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
But everyone else, it will take time, it will take prayers, it would take incense, it would take a good amount of hours, weeks, even years,
Yeah, to weaken it.
But that's where I differ with only 30 minutes so far as my record of clearing the entire house. Not to brag and boast, but that's just a matter of fact. But, like I said, in that short period of time, they haven't had a chance to do anything. Haven't had a chance to attack, scratch, or harm anyone. But in other cases, all other cases, they do. They get violent, they get angry, they move shit, they bang shit, they scratch people. The person who's being oppressed suddenly acts like they are possessed, or if they're already possessed, they go into full possession mode. Because now they realize this person's here to remove me, I'm going to do whatever I can to scare them away or fight back. So in such cases like that, a positive mindset usually pushes them back. Unless the other cases, and one of the other reasons, they want you for a specific reason. We find that psychics and mediums get targeted a lot because of their abilities to the other side. Which I think is a perfect segue into one of our first cases.
Yes.
Right? Which does include our first encounter with the Cheshire Demon. Now, the reason why we picked the Cheshire Demon, out of all the demons we've encountered, of all the high-ranking ones, of all the evil ones, of all the ones we've encountered, all the creatures, of all the different things, what's specific about this one is the way it looks. Majority of demons' faces have no expressions. They have eyes, they have a mouth, right? Sometimes the face looks angry, sometimes it's yelling, sometimes it's that, sometimes they speak words, something like that. But no, they always seem the same blank-faced, emotionless kind of face every single time. For the exception, though, of the Cheshire Demon. Now, the Cheshire Demon, as we classify it, now it's been supposedly, there's other legends. There's something called the Grinner.
Which is more of like, I don't know, it's like an urban legend that they think, they still don't know if it's like an entity or if it's a alien type Men in Black situation. There's different stories of those, because like the encounter with the Grinner, essentially, is like an urban legend. Like, you'll be walking or whatever, and you see this man, and I think he gives, in some of the situations, will give the name Ingrid Cold, and it's more of like almost like a Men in Black situation, black-eyed kids, like that kind of urban legend. But there's been people that have seen entities that the only way they could describe it is like a shadow thing that looks like the face, not like the cat face, but like the way the mouth is, like the Cheshire Cat.
Which was the first thing that came to my mind when I first saw one. Now, what classifies a Cheshire Demon as a Cheshire Demon is a demon, but it has a giant grin on its face. It's very animated, very cartoon-like almost. They reminded me of the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. That's the first thing I thought of when I first saw it.
And I think it's interesting because I think it even moves like...
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first one we ever encountered was with our old friend Barry Rick, the man with two first names. He was our first home case we ever done. First chance I ever had to help someone who had listened to the podcast, who reached out for help. I was able to pull through his phone, pull something from his location to ours, imprison it, and found out he had a lot more shit than we even thought about. But the Cheshire Demon was one thing we encountered because it was a black mass of a cloud undulating in the corner of his living room. But in the middle of this black mass, like a cloud, was two eyes that were very red and a giant Cheshire smile grin within it. And I was like, what the fuck am I looking? I was like, what am I looking at, right? Which the first thought that came to my head is the Cheshire Demon. Like, it's a Cheshire Cat, it's a demon or something like that, right? And I was able to pull the energy from and imprison it and stuff like that. Along with Barry's story, which if you want to hear his story, there's actually one of our earliest testimonial episodes, actually the first. Barry's story, which I encourage him to go listen to because he had a lot of stuff going on in his home. But the whole reason that even the encounter to bother with him was because of his torment. Was his torment. That's all they wanted from him. They didn't want to possess him. They just want to torment him. But the Cheshire Demon was one thing that was there, along with two other things. A second one, for the life of me, I can't remember where we encountered it, but was a man, right, that looked like he was from the Victorian era. Suit, long-tail suit, vest, pants, top hat.
Bryce.
Was it Bryce?
I think it was Bryce.
That I encountered the second one?
I think so. Bryce, if you're listening, I think...
You might want to confirm
I think it was you. I think it was you. I think it... Yeah.
But yeah, this one I encountered had a top hat, had a suit, all black like a shadow figure, right? His eyes were black, but its grin on its face was bigger than its face. Like I said, very animated, very cartoon-like. A giant grin on its face. And those are the two that we've encountered the most. Or, sorry, the two that we've only encountered.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. And that's why that Smile movie, not a good movie. It could have been done completely different and been a really good movie, horror movie. But I think that's what got me very, like, okay, what the demon that possesses makes them smile.
Yeah.
And I think it's the uneasiness. You know, like it's not even a smile, it's a grin. It's just the uneasy, like, you know, you accumulate someone that smiles as being like happy and joyous and all of that stuff. But when you see it and it's something so dark and it instills fear in you, it just makes you screw with your head. Like kind of like when you hear like happy music when there's like a horror scene or something like that. And you're like, whoa, this completely throws me off because it's a happy song. And yet there's bad, scary stuff happening.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the same thing because the last thing, you know, if you see like a demonic thing and you see it kind of like, or like a bad shadow figure or something like that. And it kind of like, is monotone or even just angry, you kind of expect it because that's what you're feeling. But when you see something and it's just this like grin and you're just like, it almost causes like a weird thing in your brain, like a glitch, like wait, what you know?
It's a very sinister look. It's a very like very trickster kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, every demon that I've come across, every demon that I've taken down, there's always anger and rage behind their actions, even in their facial expressions. They're not happy. They're not trying to play me. They're not trying to actually. A lot of them are trying to start a fight. But when I encountered a Cheshire demon, it's a whole different thing. It's they're smiling at me. Like, what creature smiles at its enemy? Right? To create a sense.
Complete psychopath.
Exactly. It actually, you know what? I want to qualify. There might be a third by technicality. Mm-hmm. And I say that because the third, that if you want to classify this as, was actually in someone's mind forest. Our good friend Ashley. Well, you have to get her in for a testimonial episode.
Yeah. She's listening. Hey, Ashley.
In her mind forest, that was very dense, the forest, the woodage anyway. There was, when I finally made it through the foliage, the forest, and it found the kind of hut design built in the middle, there was something running around in there that was like, and they were going to catch me, like a Joker. Mm-hmm. Right? And even when I grabbed it and I looked at it, it was like a jester. It dressed like a jester. It had a grin on its face that reminded me of like the Joker, like Batman the Joker. That over cartooned design in its face, like a jester. Well, it dressed like a jester, had a face like the Joker. Let's say that. So very clown-esque. But if you want to classify it as a third, possibly you've encountered. Yeah. But it's the same thing. It's like an evil entity that's all is based on trickery and like a psychopath.
And almost like chaotic trickery. Yeah. Like it's
which annoys me more than anything, because I'm used to fighting things that are like rageful and angry and like they're coming at me like I want to like destroy you. Those are very easy to combat because it's one emotion. But the trickster ones, the ones that are like laughing and like they're smiling at you, those are the ones you got to technically worry about because they have a very psychopathic style mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is when I was looking up, obviously I know about the Grinning Man urban legend, but like I said, that was, again, people don't really know if it's an entity or if it's almost like Men in Black, Black Eyed Kids, like that type of thing. But so I went to the forums. Anyways.
You find some stories?
So there wasn't like actual stories. It was just kind of people describing it and kind of like where they saw it. But there was people just like, people will say they saw the Hat Man or shadow figure or something like that. Said they have seen. Some of it's been like the first case where it was kind of like almost like an amoeba looking cloud thing where there was really no definite shape. It was just, you could tell it was something with eyes and a mouth, and it was the Grin. And I thought that we coined kind of the idea of it being a Cheshire Cat, right? Cheshire Cat demon or whatever, Cheshire Grin, whatever you want to call it.
Cheshire demon.
Yeah. And I thought like that was something like we just like came up with, but no. That is exactly how they were describing it. There was like different questions. Has anybody ever experienced a Cheshire Cat-like type entity that is dark? And like, anything else when it comes to like dark shadow figures, seeing like the Hat Man, any kind of hag or even low-level demonic beings, it was that. It would arrive. And which I found interesting is a lot of people had sleep paralysis while this thing was around. Which I found that to be very interesting. So I would say it's more like a hag. A lot of imprinting can happen in sense of making you feel a certain way, making you feel like low, making you feel like upset, depressed. Like I feel like that come from it. Sleep paralysis. Like I said, some people said it was like humanoid shaped. Some people said it was more like just like a cloud, like how the first encounter was. Uneasiness, not being able to move, like that kind of thing. Obviously being terrified. And it was all ages that said this. There was this one lady, she started digging into it because she said like she was seeing it all her life and it was specific points. And it would be accompanied by like months of sleep paralysis and then it would stop. Come back, stop. Come back, stop. And it was like random moments in her life. And she, obviously there's not a lot out there about it, except for people's experiences. So, yeah. Ew. I don't know why that came out a whisper.
Yeah.
Ew. It's kind of interesting because I notice a lot of the time with the higher level demonic beings, there's always like you said, the minions. And sometimes there's the hag, there's shadow people, there's things like that. And I think it's interesting. I don't know. I think it's interesting because that thing is such an uneasy. It's just uneasy. It's chaotic, like you said. And it's interesting because this is the thing is I have had somebody that was oppressed by like an actual like higher up level demonic being. Like it wasn't just like a shadow thing. It was pretty up there. And he, I believe, was actually calling it back to himself. Like he was calling the things to him. And this was something that he called, to attach to him. But when I'm around somebody that is very, very much oppressed, like it's not possession, but it's getting there. It's chaotic energy. Like I feel chaoticness around them. But the thing that's attached isn't chaotic. And I find that interesting. And then when I tune into people that have like this around their house, it's also very chaotic. So I find it interesting that I feel like obviously, and it's written down multiple different spots, but definitely I feel like the negative beings that are on the negative side of the spectrum do have very chaotic energy. Like it almost feels like spinning.
What's the opposite of order?
Chaos, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Hence why I am their enemy, because they call me the order keeper.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you start getting called things by the spirits.
Well, I have 6 names.
Yeah,
and
like they used to call Mike, that was part of our team, the priest all the time, and I always thought that was interesting.
I don't call you the witch.
I don't know.
And I'm the order keeper.
Like I said, I don't practice, so I mean, I do like stuff with my abilities, but like I don't actively practice. So I don't know why, unless there's something with like a past life thing with that. I don't know. But who knows?
I don't know if we ever go to episode on that, what things they call us, what we've been called. Yeah.
No, I think though it would be interesting. We need to do another past life episode because there's a lot more of past lives that I've learned about and experienced.
As have I.
Yeah, so I think that one. But yeah, like I said, this is more of like our experience. And I think going into 2024, we're going to have a lot more episodes that kind of, because we've been investigating for a bit now and kind of have gone out there and experienced some of these things. And that's kind of where we started the whole podcast for, was to get our experiences out there and to also connect with other people and share their experiences. And I think having some sort of information out there about the unknown, like different things that you experience about the unknown that's not necessarily written down, because like I said, other than the Grinning Man urban legend, there's not much about seeing an entity that looks like the Cheshire Cat that you said you looked for podcasts about it and you didn't find any.
Well, I found someone on Smiling Demon, but they're talking about the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nothing particularly on, like I put Cheshire Demon, I put Grinner. There was nothing. And
you could see just from that movie how uneasy it is when you see somebody that is possessed, that smiles. And I find that interesting too, because even in possession, one of the things that I've seen in possession footage is they make them like do that weird smile. Which I think it's just to cause
uneasy feelings.
Uneasy, like funky feeling. So I think that wraps us up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's like some of the things that we've seen, and I'm sure there's like more out there. But just to give you an idea, because I know there's a lot of people out there that probably have seen some of the similar things, whether they've had sleep paralysis issues or they've had dreams that have not been pleasant, or even seen stuff in their home that look like it. Oh, another thing that I didn't. So it's not a demon, but I don't know. Have you ever seen shadow animals like the cat? That was
I wouldn't call it a cat.
That's the thing that popped up is like shadow things that resemble a cat. Someone said something about it literally looked like a pig running. It's kind of interesting, and I've seen the cat, and that's why I brought that up.
I wouldn't call it a cat. I would call it a mass blob in the shape the size of a cat, no tail, but blacker than black. I'm talking like manta black, right? Or Vanta black, right? The black is a black. In sharp, pointed design. The best I can describe it is, have you ever seen Attack the Block? Mm-hmm. You haven't?
No, I don't know.
One of John Boyega's first ever films he ever did.
See, I thought it was a thing.
No, it's a movie called Attack the Block. It's a British-made film. Anyway, the whole premise of it: some kids on the streets, right? Blah blah blah. They get their block is attacked by aliens. These black, like Vanta black alien creature dog things. They have weird shape, geometrical shape to their fur. It's almost pointy and spiky. Anyway, that's what it looked like. Ran out. I came out of the bathroom, ran between my legs, didn't feel it though, from the bathroom where I was in the hallway into this room.
And I saw it.
Second time was in the library.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. It was coming right from where the said portal was.
Yeah. So, but I don't know how that classifies in what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, because it's like an odd thing. It's not obviously not a demonic being. I don't think, no. I mean, technically, if you go by classifications.
First time I didn't have my ability. Second time, it wasn't as strong as it is now, so I wouldn't even give you a good testament. Plus, it moved really fast. It disappeared very quickly, so I didn't even get a chance. Yeah,
literally, I mean, to me, it literally resembles like the motion of a cat.
Yeah.
Creepiness. I don't know.
Life we live.
Yeah.
We have some announcements.
Yeah. So,
or at least an announcement that we're going to be advertising every single episode come till the day of.
Yeah.
Which is, we are going to do a live podcast from a
restaurant / arcade.
Yes, called Pizza Bones.
Pizza Bones.
Located here in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, if you're actually fans of the show or care to meet us in person, either one, or just want to hear a live podcast because you heard this and I want to see what those guys sound like live, you can come to this. It's going to be 4 hours.
It's 4 hours, but it's
a regular WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, it's we're going to be covering almost like every hour a different subject, and at the end there's going to be like a meet and greet. Come up and ask questions.
Well, first hour is an episode. Second hour is us discussing haunted locations in Jacksonville. Third hour is Q&A. Mm-hmm. So if everything you ever wanted to ask us about anything we've encountered or anything around the paranormal want to know our opinion on, you can ask us. And fourth, obviously, it's just a meet and greet where if you want to buy some merch from us, talk to us in a more personal setting. Maybe you have something you want to tell us, like, hey, I need a case. Can you pull my mind force real quick? Stuff like that, right?
Oh, my God. Just start pulling people's mind
force. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a few. I can see myself doing it. I already thought about, like, fuck, some people are going to ask me to pull their mind force.
Hey, can you pull my mind force?
Hold still. Yeah. But, yeah, we're going to do this whole big event thing at Pizza Bones. I think it's from 6 to 10, right?
I think the time is on Valentine's Day, and they do
take
they take reservations. We're still like everything is pretty much set in stone. It's just I believe the time is they're still working that out.
Yeah, but for as far as we know, they told us last before it's from 6 to 10 on Valentine's Day. It's February 14th next year. So if you're not doing anything for Valentine's Day, if it's a single awareness day for you,
oh my God,
because you're aware that you're single on that day.
Yeah.
Or you and your significant other want to go watch us talk about spooky shit. You can do that as well.
Yeah, and we'll definitely because we are doing merch in 2024. We're doing a lot of different things, but we will have merch, and then you can buy it in person. If you come.
Yeah,
we'll have a bunch of cool different things, especially for that event.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be surprised if anyone from outside our city.
You never know.
I'm not doubting that anyone would ever come, but if you are dedicated enough to travel, say from another country.
Oh my God. Okay, another country. That's excessive.
They flew all the way from Norway to be here.
Well, that would be cool. I would probably give him or her free
merch or some kind.
Free merch. Yeah, like any shirt, any like beanie, any sticker you want. Have at it.
Yeah, if you're coming that far from Norway, please bring me a stone from Usapa.
Oh my God. That's so random.
I mean, you can go.
But yeah, so this is definitely new territory for us. which is it's cool, and that's our goals and stuff like that for 2024 is definitely breaking new territory and doing new things that might get us out of our comfort zone.
But yes, so this is actually a live show that you can actually meet us and see us in person,
Yeah,
which you've never done before.
Yeah, who knows? This might actually be a thing that we continue on.
Yeah.
And there is going to be like some crowd interaction, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So I look forward to that February 14th. We'll keep talking about it. The more it gets set in stone, the more details we'll have. So yeah, 6 to 10, February 14th. I don't know if you have to pay to watch, right? Like
Pay to watch?
and there's no admission, right?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't think so.
It's just like an added thing. If you go there and you eat dinner, obviously,
Yeah.
it's like an added thing. It's like any other live show at
Pizza Bones.
Pizza Bones.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's an arcade, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, so if you want to, throw some skeet balls while hearing some scary shit, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, they are taking reservations. We're going to make a post here soon, probably for the new year, on like all the details. So we're just waiting to get some, final things set in stone from Pizza Bones, and we will be good to go.
No haunted updates?
No.
No.
No,
So you
not
tested
yet.
out some new abilities.
Yeah, we tested out some new things. We'll probably do more of like a haunted update kind of thing going for 2024. Sometime in the beginning of the year, we're also going to be doing another Haunted Camp Lejeune episode. So it might be kind of weaved into that.
So look forward to that. Speaking
Yeah.
of which, what is our next episode about?
So our next episode bleh. But our next episode, which will be released probably the week of Christmas, is about snowstorm anomalies.
Yes.
Meaning some urban legends, because there is some crazy urban legends that surround snow and like snowy places. Because there's actually, I think in Japan there is a snow demon, which I thought that was interesting, urban legend type thing. And then we're also kind of touch on the idea, could weather affect paranormal activity? I think that's interesting because we're in kind of winter area.
We're on a coast.
No, we're not. I don't know why I said it like that. We're in the wintry time of the year, and we've covered Krampus before, so we thought we would still try and get like a festive theme going. So we picked snowstorms.
Yes.
Snowstorms. Snow anomalies. Woo!
It's late.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, look forward to that next week. Along with future bonus episodes coming next year as well. Teasing new music coming next year as well. So
Yeah.
look forward to a lot of new things.
Adjusting our themes.
In the new year.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably talk about more next episode as well. But, as always, guys, you can catch our social medias at Hidden in the Shadows Podcast on Instagram, Hidden in the Shaw 6 on X, or Hidden in the Shaw 6 on X, Hidden in the Shadows Podcast.
What?
I don't know the TikTok.
Every day. Not every day.
You take TikTok.
Okay, TikTok is at Hidden in the Shaw Podcast. No.
Hidden in the Shadows Podcast.
Oh my god, I'm wrong too. At Hidden in the Shadows Podcast too.
All right. Or links to all our social media. Always.
Dang.
Sorry.
Butchering that outro.
Anyway. Or links to all our social media and all ways you can listen to us at hiddenshadowspodcast.com. Also, if you're dealing with any paranormal, need help with any evil removal and demonic removal, evil entity removal, do not hesitate to message us, either through Hidden Shadows Podcast or our paranormal team, Hidden Shadows Paranormal, which you can follow that on Instagram as well. But yes, message us. Maybe you need advice on something, or you just need your mind voice cleared. I do that as well. But as always, we'll catch your widows in the next one.
Yeah.